Good morning students, welcome to class 12 chemistry. Today we are going to discuss about new chapter, that is electrochemistry. So first of all, what is meant by electrochemistry? See, actually it is a branch of chemistry which deals with the relationship between electrical energy and chemical changes taking place in redox reactions. So it's a branch of chemistry which deals with the relationship between electrical energy and chemical changes taking place in redox reactions. That is, how chemical energy produced in a redox reaction can be converted into electrical energy, or how electrical energy can be used to bring about a redox reaction which is non-spontaneous. See, here is a branch of science which deals with the production of electricity from energy released during spontaneous redox chemical reaction and the use of electrical energy to bring about non-spontaneous chemical transformations. See here, production of electricity from energy released during spontaneous redox chemical reaction. So that is a spontaneous reaction. A redox reaction is spontaneous. Actually, whatever the energy released during spontaneous chemical reaction, that energy is utilized for the production of electricity. At the same time, the use of electrical energy to bring about non-spontaneous chemical transformation. So it's a branch of chemistry which deals with the relationship between electrical energy and chemical energy, conversion of electrical energy, production of electrical energy, how to produce electrical current, electrical energy with the chemical changes that happen due to redox reaction. At the same time, use of electrical energy in order to perform the chemical redox reaction. So it's a simultaneously it brings about the relationship between electrical energy and chemical changes taking place in redox reactions. So that is how chemical energy is produced in a redox reaction can be converted into electrical energy. Conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy. At the same time, conversion of electrical energy into a redox reaction, that is chemical energy. So this study we call it as electrochemistry. How to convert a chemical redox reaction, whatever the chemical energy with the help of chemical energy produced during a redox reaction, that chemical energy should be converted to electrical energy. At the same time, electrical energy, how electrical energy is utilized to perform a chemical redox reaction. So it's a simultaneously we are going to study about this. So chemical changes involving production or consumption of electricity. Chemical changes involving production of electricity are called electrochemical changes. So what are electrochemical changes? What are electrochemical changes? That is the key point. Changes involving production of electricity, we call them as electrochemical changes. See, actually there are three main aspects. If you want to study this electrochemistry, that can be studied in three aspects. Chemical changes involving production or consumption of electricity are called electrochemical changes, and the three main aspects of study in the branch of electrochemistry. Students, this chapter we are going to learn basing on three important fundamental headings. One is we are going to study detailedly regarding electrolysis. So this total chapter is divided into three subtopics, big subtopics. One is under electrolysis heading we are going to study, and the other one is electrolytic conduction. Under this heading we are going to study second subtopic, and the third subtopic is electrochemical cells or galvanic cells or voltaic cells. So under these three headings we are going to complete the chapter. So first main aspect we are going to study, that is related to first one. What is that, students? Electrolysis. We are studying about electrolysis. So I think before going to define this electrolysis, let's have some importance of this electrochemistry. So generally metals such as sodium, magnesium, so we are before going to define it, we are going to study about importance of electrochemistry. So general importance, where we are going to get this use of this electrochemistry. So generally metals such as sodium, magnesium, calcium, aluminum, and a number of chemicals such as, so some compounds, sodium hydroxide, chlorine, fluorine, and these are, and some certain commercial importance products. So these metals can be extracted by using electrochemistry techniques. At the same time, some important commercial compounds like sodium hydroxide, chlorine, fluorine, so they can be produced by electrochemical methods. Even batteries and cells are used in various instruments and other devices. They convert chemical energy into electrical energy. So whatever the cells we are using now, battery cells, so their chemical energy is there, one chemical redox reaction will be there. So when you use these batteries, a chemical energy generally converts into electrical energy. At the same time, the sensor signals sent to the brain, sensory signals sent to the brain through the cells and vice versa, and communication among different cells are mainly based on electrochemical phenomena. That means electrochemical phenomena itself takes place in our body. The sensory signals from brain to different cells and from different cells to brain, and the communication among different cells is mainly based on the electrochemical phenomena. That is also important, students. So reactions carried out electrochemically are eco-friendly. So they are energy efficient and less polluting. That is very, very important. So generally, if you use other fuels, definitely environmental pollution will be there, but reactions carried out electrochemically are eco-friendly, so they are energy efficient and less polluting. So this is the main importance of this electrochemistry. So we use still many concepts we are going to discuss in this chapter. Now, what is meant by electrolysis? How can you define the term electrolysis? Electrolysis. So it's a process of decomposition of an electrolyte. So first of all, you know what is meant by an electrolyte. Electrolyte is a good conductor of heat and electricity. So the process of decomposition of an electrolyte. Here electrolyte may be an acid, maybe a base, maybe a salt. So which is a good conductor of heat and electricity. So that is called as an electrolyte. Now electrolysis phenomena involves the process of decomposition of an electrolyte by the passage of electricity through its aqueous solution or molten state. So whether the solution may be in aqueous solution or in molten state. So in this electrolysis phenomena, what is the main key point? Decomposition of electrolyte takes place. So key point is decomposition of electrolyte by passing electricity. Decomposition of electrolyte. That electrolyte may be in two conditions. That may be in aqueous condition or it may be in molten condition. So it is an example of redox reaction. Do you know it or not? Electrolysis process. Electrolysis, it is an example of redox reaction. This is an example of redox reaction. So decomposition of a chemical substance by applied EMF, electromotive force. So here decomposition takes place. Decomposition of electrolyte by applied EMF. EMF means electromotive force. So first of all, we should learn the apparatus used to bring about electrolysis is called electrolytic cell. So we should learn about electrolytic cell. What is meant by electrolytic cell? The apparatus used to bring about electrolysis is called electrolytic cell. We call that cell as electrolytic cell. Now we'll have the diagram. See the students. So this is the representation of an electrolytic cell. Already in first year you might have got an idea. regarding this. So what is this electrolytic cell? It consists of a glass cell in which electrolyte may be taken in the form of aqueous solution or in the molten state. So here generally all electrolytic cells, or most of the electrolytic cells, are glass vessels and they are filled with electrolyte. You have to fill this with electrolyte. So that electrolyte may be in aqueous state or it may exist in molten state. It may exist in molten state. So two metal rods are dipped in it. You can see two electrodes are dipped in it. One here, and are connected to the external circuit battery. So here two electrodes are named. One, it is called as anode, and other one we call it as cathode. So what is meant by a cathode? How can you define the electrode cathode? The electrode connected to negative pole of the battery. So what is meant by cathode? The electrode connected to negative pole of the battery. Negative pole of the battery, we call it as cathode. So what is meant by anode? The electrode connected to positive pole of the battery. So what is meant by anode? Electrode connected to positive pole of the battery. So that is called anode. So here you can see negative electrode, we call it as cathode. So cathode is a negative electrode. Cathode is a negative electrode, that is cathode, and a positive electrode we call it as anode. Positive electrode we call it as, so anode acts as a positive junction, cathode acts as a negative junction. That is a key point. So negative electrode we call it as cathode, positive electrode we call it as anode. So this is the representation of an electrolytic cell. You can see here ammeter. Ammeter is an instrument used to indicate the flow of electric current in the circuit. Ammeter is an instrument used to indicate the flow of electric current in the circuit. So this is the main theme involved in electrolysis. So the thing, sometimes there may be difference in the electrodes also. Inert electrodes are usually used in electrolytic cell. Generally, inert electrodes. What are inert electrodes? They don't interact with ions or final products produced during electrolysis process. So generally most of the electrodes we use are inert electrodes. So generally in this electrolytic cell, the flow of electrons always takes place from anode to cathode. This is the important point. Flow of electrons. Working of electrolytic cell. Here flow of electrons always takes place from anode to cathode. Anode to cathode. And direction of flow of current will be in opposite direction. So flow of current will be in opposite direction to the flow of electrons. Flow of current, that is electricity, will be in opposite direction to the flow of electrons. That is a key point, students. Have to focus on this. Now we are going to discuss a theory. That theory we call it as mechanism of electrolysis. So actually this is a very, very important fundamental. Most of the points you know. Quickly I will revise this theory. So that is called mechanism of how this electrolysis mechanism takes place. So mechanism of electrolysis can be explained through one theory, that is preferential discharge theory. That is explained through one theory. What is the theory called? Preferential discharge theory. See, all the key points already you know. Note down these points quickly. When electricity is passed through electrolyte, what happens? When electricity is passed through electrolyte, dissociation of electrolyte or ionization of electrolyte takes place. So dissociation of electrolyte, when electrolyte undergo dissociation, it turns into two ions. One is called cation and the other one is called anion, right? So one is positively charged species, we call it as cation, negatively charged species, we call it as anion. So during electrolysis, movement of ions takes place. So cations, during electrolysis process, cations move towards cathode. Do you know it or not? Cations move towards cathode. So that's why we got the definition. What is cation? Cat plus ion. Ion which migrates towards cathode, we call it as cation. At the same time, anions move towards, during electrolysis process, anions move towards anode. So that's why it has got the name anion. An plus ion, anion. So the ion which migrates towards anode, we call it as anion. So cations are positively charged species, they always migrate towards the negative junction cathode. Anions are negatively charged species, they always move towards the positive pole, that is anode. So these are the key points, fundamentals. So generally these ions movement of ions, they move towards respective electrodes during electrolysis and they get discharged. These ions get discharged and get deposited at respective electrodes. Okay, that is also key point. Movement of ions takes place when during the working of electrolytic cell, movement of ions takes place. So cations migrate towards cathode, anions migrate towards anode and gets deposited at their respective electrodes. So during electrolysis, cations gain electrons, right? Cations gain electrons and anions lose electrons. Anions lose electrons. That is also key point. So during electrolysis, the electrons enters into the electrolyte at cathode. They are taken up by cations. So during electrolysis process, the electrons enter into the electrolyte at cathode and they are taken up by cations. So electrons lost by anions leave the electrolyte at anode. Okay students, so here as a result the ions gets deposited at their respective electrodes. So always remember that at cathode, what takes place at cathode? Reduction takes place at cathode. So what is meant by reduction? Addition of electrons. So suppose if you take any cation, B plus plus electron gives rise to B. So during reduction process, cations gains electrons. Gain of electrons takes place. So addition of electrons we call it as cathode. Here reduction. So always remember that reduction process takes place always at cathode. Next at anode. At anode, what process takes place at anode? Oxidation. Oxidation always takes place at anode junction. So here anode means here loss of electrons. So here A minus, it loses into A plus plus electron. So here loss of electrons takes place. So always remember that two fundamental phenomena. Always remember that at cathode, reduction takes place at cathode, oxidation takes place at anode. That is the conclusion point. Okay. So according to this preferential discharge theory, if more than one ions are attracted towards a particular electrode, see sometimes if electrolyte undergo dissociation, sometimes more than 2 cations, more than 3 cations may be present in that solution. Even more than 2 anions and more than two anions or cations may be present in that solution. So at that time what we have to do? Which ion gets preferentially discharged at a particular electrode? That we have to focus on that point. According to this theory, if more than one type of ions are attracted towards a particular electrode, what happens? The ion with lower discharge potential, is discharged in preference to ion with higher discharge potential. So this is important, students, very very important fundamental. The ion with low, say suppose 2 cations are there, which cation will migrate towards cathode? Which anion will migrate towards anode? So competition arises between the similar charged ions. 2 ions are there, H plus and Na plus. Which one will migrate towards cathode first? You know that cation migrates towards cathode, anion migrates towards anode. So the ion with lower discharge potential is discharged first in preference to the ion with higher discharge potential. So here the term discharge potential is very important. What is meant by discharge potential? It is the potential at which ion is discharged, the ion possessing least energy. So what is meant by discharge potential? It is the potential at which ion is discharged, or the ion possessing least energy. Ion possessing least energy. So this point is very important for objective bits. The ion with lower discharge potential is discharged in preference to ion with higher discharge potential. So decreasing order, we can take decreasing order of discharge potentials of, see, that means lower whatever the ion it possesses lower discharge potential, that will discharge first in preference to ion with, so what point you will write? Discharge potential of an ion is inversely proportional to ease of deposition of ion. Ease of deposition. So ease of deposition means here ion with low discharge potential will deposit quickly at respective electrode. So keeping this point, you have to do. Two ions are there, you have to compare the discharge potential values will be there. So this theory, it has given some order, decreasing order of discharge potentials of cations. Decreasing order of, so somewhat big order, you have to, through practice only you can remember. Decreasing order of discharge potential of cations. So coming to this, very important, K plus greater than Ca2 plus greater than, this one order you have to practice. Md2 plus greater than, Al3 plus greater than, Zn2 plus. So through practice only you can remember them. H plus. So in 10th class you got electrochemical series, that list only. So some of the examples, important ions I am giving. So this is the decreasing order of discharge potentials of various cations. Next, decreasing order of discharge potentials of anions. So that is F minus greater than, SO4 minus greater than, NO3 minus greater than, OH minus greater than. Like this, some important anions I have given. So try to remember them, or through practice you will do it now, practice. So these are the decreasing order of discharge potentials of cations and anions. Now one more important point, students. The products of electrolysis mainly depends upon certain factors. The products of electrolysis mainly depends on certain factors. What are those factors? So what products are formed during electrolysis? So what are those factors? First one, it depends on electrode potential of various possible reactions. So it mainly depends upon electrode potential values. Electrode potential values. Generally, we consider reduction potential values. We will learn about them in the next coming classes. Reduction potential values. So the next factor, concentration of ions. This is also important point. Concentration of ions in the solution. And the next factor is types of electrodes. Type of electrodes. So there are some electrodes, they are reacting. That means types of electrodes means some electrodes or reacting electrodes will be there. They interact with the electrolyte present in the solution. Reacting electrodes, and other one is non-reacting electrodes. Generally we take non-reacting electrodes only. Non-reacting electrodes are otherwise called inert electrodes. So let's have some examples related to them. First one, you can take some examples. Electrolysis of aqueous NaCl. Aqueous NaCl solution. Electrolysis of, so we will take molten first. Molten. See, molten state is different from aqueous state or fused state. Molten is different from aqueous. Electrolysis of molten NaCl. Here no water content will be there. So if you take molten NaCl, so first of all molten NaCl splits into Na++ Cl-. So at cathode what happens, students? At cathode, what we discussed already, reduction takes place at cathode. So cathode, so Na++ electron gives rise to Na. This is a reaction which takes place at cathode. And at anode what takes place, students? Oxidation takes place at anode. So here chloride ions are there, chlorine Cl2 plus 2 electrons. So finally, if you write the net redox reaction for this NaCl, so if you take this, these two are redox reactions. So if you write the redox reaction clearly, that is NaCl gives rise to Na++ Cl-. So overall reaction, if you want to write, 2 Na plus 2 Cl-, this is the formation of NaCl. Actually this is the formation of NaCl. Overall reaction, 2 Na plus 2 Cl- gives rise to, what you will get instead of this? See here, you can write 2 Na solid plus chlorine gas. So this is the redox reaction involved actually. 2 times you multiply the given equation. So if you want to balance this equation must be multiplied with 2. Then only we can get 2 Na plus 2 electrons gives us to 2 Na. So if you add those equations, electrons gets cancelled, and finally you will get the redox reaction 2 Na plus 2 Cl- gives rise to 2 Na solid plus Cl2. This is about molten NaCl, electrolysis of molten NaCl. So next one, electrolysis of molten MgCl2. You can take molten magnesium chloride. So it is in molten state. So actually molten magnesium chloride, if it is an electrolyte, how it will dissociate? MgCl2, it dissociates into Mg2++, 2Cl-. So what are the redox reactions that takes place at anode? So at anode, you know, at anode what happens at anode? Oxidation. Oxidation means loss of electrons. 2Cl- gives rise to Cl2 plus 2 electrons. So at cathode what happens, students? At cathode you can write, at cathode reduction takes place at cathode. So if it undergoes reduction, 2Mg2 plus, so here only Mg2 plus na, so Mg2 plus 2 electrons gives rise to Mg. So if you add these two redox reactions, what you will get? Mg2 plus 2Cl minus gives rise to Cl2 plus Mg, and this electron gets cancelled. So finally redox reaction is Mg2 plus 2Cl minus gives rise to Cl2 plus Mg. That magnesium is in solid state, chlorine is in gaseous state. Magnesium is in solid state, chlorine is in gaseous state. So this is next electrolysis of, you see we are taking molten conditions, molten Al2O3. So you already know Al2O3, it splits into 2Al3 plus, very important student, redox reactions for numericals, 2Al3 plus 3O2 minus oxide ions. So again here at anode what happens, students? At anode, so here molten state, no problem for you, no competition between the ions, oxidation takes place at anode. So if oxidation takes place at anode, what you can do here? O2 minus ion, so 2O2, how you will write here? Oxidation takes place at anode. What happens at anode? Generally 2O2 minus 3O2 minus gives rise to, so which one is released here? See, actually in case of molten Al2O3 we take carbon electrodes. Generally carbon, we take carbon as an electrode. So here that carbon, whatever the carbon we take, that carbon is converted to, here I am using carbon in solid state. So here carbon will be converted to, actually whatever the carbon is, some part is oxidized to carbon monoxide, some part is oxidized to carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon monoxide plus carbon dioxide, like this it will undergo oxidation. So for this total 6 electrons. This is anode reaction. And at cathode what happens, students? At cathode reduction takes place at cathode. So here 2Al3 plus 6 electrons gives rise to 2Al, right? Now final net reaction, if you write the net reaction, what will be the net reaction? 2Al3 plus 3O2 minus plus 2 carbon. From where this carbon? It is an electrode, carbon dioxide plus carbon monoxide plus 2Al. So here this is the overall order of the redox reaction. Okay students, so next if I take molten, electrolysis of molten K2SO4. So generally you know K2SO4, it splits into 2K plus sulfate ion SO4 2 minus, right? Now at anode what happens at anode? You already know at anode oxidation takes place at anode. So this sulfate ions, you take 2 moles, these sulfate ions undergo oxidation to give S2OA 2 minus. This is called peroxo disulfate ion. Peroxo disulfate ion plus 2 electrons, net charge. So at cathode what happens, students? At cathode reduction takes place at cathode. 2K plus 2 electrons gives rise to 2K. So here reduction takes place, and final net redox reaction if you want to write, we are going to get 2K plus 2SO4 2 minus gives rise to 2K plus S2OA 2 minus. So this can be This is the thing. So last one, in case of molten, that is electrolysis of molten sodium thiosulfate Na2H2O3. If you take molten Na2H2O3, so first of all Na2H2O3, this splits into 2Na plus H2O3 2 minus, so it will ionize. Now at anode what happens? At anode oxidation takes place at anode. So here 2H2O3 2 minus, it turns into H4O6 2 minus plus 2 electrons. This is called tetrathionate ion. Tetrathionate ion. Okay. Next case, at cathode what happens, students? This is all the case of molten electrolytes. This is the case of molten electrolytes. So here reduction takes place. 2Na plus 2 electrons gives rise to 2Na, that is in solid state, right? Na. So overall reaction, if you write for this overall reaction, finally redox reaction becomes 2Na plus 2H2O3 2 minus gives rise to H4O6 2 minus plus 2Na, that is solid sodium in solid state. So these are the electrolysis of molten salts. Electrolysis of molten salts. So thank you, students.